So my name's Thomas Power from academy.com, that's where you'll know me from. And I'm joined today by Stuart Ross, who in the last 5 years has come from nowhere, building a business on the internet, selling information products, building up an internet marketing system to die for. And I'm so staggered by what he's achieved. I wanted to interview him, get him on film, so that you could learn from what I consider is probably one of the best guys in the world. And I should know, I've met a lot of people. Stuart, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much for coming to see us today.
Take us back to 2007. You're 25 years old. Mm-hmm. Where did it all begin?
Okay, so at 25 years old I was in my job. I started work at 18. I dropped out of college, and the reason I dropped out of college is because I very, very quickly realised that the industry I was studying, which was sports studies, there was no real high-paying jobs in that marketplace. In fact, it came from work experience. I was on a week's work experience and I was meeting lots of staff and seeing what people were doing with their careers, and I realised that it wasn't going to be an industry that was going to pay too well. So I dropped out of college and I actually got myself a job in sales. So wind forward to 25 years old, I've been working nearly 8 years, worked myself from a trainee negotiator in the estate agency industry, photocopying, printing details, to the point where at 25 years old I was an area manager, managing lots and lots of staff, and in reality...
Did you love it?
Do you know, for about 4 or 5 years I did, yeah, and I think the reason I loved it is because it was new to me, it was something different to studying at school or college. I was getting paid for it. By 24 I was very close to a 6-figure salary, and yeah, I mean, it was for several years I enjoyed it. But what really happened, by the time I sort of hit 25, I was working 70 hours a week. I was working many weekends. I had no time for fitness, I had no time for any sort of hobbies, I had near on no time for my girlfriend, my family, and it just felt like life was about working.
So something had to change?
Yeah, I mean...
Where did the inspiration for that change come from, other than the 70-hour weeks? I mean,
it came from general frustration. I mean, I remember looking back now, I mean, I would often work on files for several weeks, working with clients, liaising with solicitors, trying to get deals through.
Selling properties?
Yeah, selling properties. Often £1 million or $1 million plus homes. Then the deal would fall through and I wouldn't get paid. So I realised that I was working in a flawed environment, because it just didn't make sense to be putting all this work in to have the commissions falling out of bed and receiving nothing from it. So I just got to this position where I was like 25 years old, working 70 hours a week, feeling very, very frustrated with my life. Something, like you said, had to change. I had to change something. And
you didn't have time to keep fit, and you didn't have time for the family, you didn't have time for your girlfriend. So those were frustrations.
Yeah, actually, while you're on that, I remember my energy. I was 25 years old and I used to have to pull myself out of bed. I mean, I literally had to pull myself out. The alarm would go off and I was absolutely knackered. I would get up feeling like rubbish. I would sit in traffic in the mornings trying not to fall asleep. I mean, it was getting to a position for a 25-year-old that wasn't particularly pleasant.
So this frustration sparked a change. Where did the change come from?
I suppose what really happened, I started reading books. One of the first books that I definitely would recommend that anyone goes out and gets is a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, great book.
And he was the first person that ever mentioned to me the difference between being a business owner or being someone that has assets, who has money work for them, in comparison to somebody who's trading their time for money. And what I learned from that book was that whilst I was in a job, or whilst I was running a small business where I was a vital part of the business, I would continue to have very little leverage in my life. There's only so much your time is worth. It doesn't matter how brilliant you are at your job, whether you're a doctor, a GP, a lawyer, there's only so much of your time that you can give. And he inspired me to become a business owner where I could have either staff or technology or tools or products working for me. Assets, I mean, one of the things he talks a lot about is owning properties with rental income coming in. So, that money's coming in whether you're working or not. The problem I had at that time is I had no money to invest. So becoming rich through purchasing assets wouldn't have been an option.
So his big message is about income follows assets, and don't sell time for money. So that book inspired you. What happened after you finished reading that book?
I started to look at businesses and what I could possibly do, but I had no money, so it was very challenging. But what actually eventually happened is I bought a franchise magazine. I was reading through the magazine and this advert stood out, and it was this franchise opportunity that promised that I was going to make loads of money. Often, like you'll see, and how easy it was going to be, and how it was a system, and that, you know, if I followed that I'd make a ton of money. And I managed to scrape together the money through borrowing money off my parents and through credit cards. And it was about $20,000, about £15,000 I had to spend at the time.
That's a lot of money.
It was a lot of money to someone that had no money.
And this is 2007?
Yes, this is 2007.
And what happened with that franchise?
It was a bit of a disaster. I effortlessly managed to drill that business into the ground. It was something that came quite natural to me as a new business owner. What really happened was I had to spend a lot of time doing tasks that I'd never done before because I'd had secretaries or I'd had admin staff. So I realised probably within a couple of weeks of getting started that what I had effectively done is bought myself a job. Now, what I had to do in that business was attract customers to advertise their businesses in a local area. It was a city-based website, and the advertisers would pay a subscription to be a member. Now, one of the things I want to say is that the reason I was attracted to that franchise wasn't just because it was one of the only ones I could afford because it was internet-based. It was this fact that it had recurring income. So you'd get an advertiser, they'd pay you a monthly fee, and every month that money would come in. So effectively what you do is you'd win the customer, you'd get that customer on board, and then you just get paid on and on and on and on and on, which is something that Robert Kiyosaki spoke a lot about in his book. So I thought, you know, business, residual income, this is the one to go for.
So you said you nailed it into the ground, you killed it off in, how many months did that take?
It took about 6 months by the time
was this an expensive mistake, or was this a good training course?
Looking back now, I have to say it's probably one of the best things that could have happened to me, because what I ended up coming away from was a list of things that I didn't want to do, a list of mistakes I didn't want to make again. Okay. Now, just some of those, I won't go through all of them, but just some of those was I didn't want to be in a business where I had to cold call, chase, convince people, be on the phone all day. Within 6 weeks of having that business, I realised that I wasn't cut out for cold calling, and I certainly wasn't cut out for trying to persuade or convince people to meet me in an appointment, or convince them that they had to be advertising on my website. I also learned very, very quickly that I didn't want to buy myself another job, because I realised that until that business was making several $100,000 in turnover, it was unlikely that I'd be able to afford to employ a team of people to do that job. So therefore, in the interim time, I'd have to spend a huge amount of my time doing a lot of the tasks that
So you'd be back on those 70-hour weeks from the estate agent?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you shut that down after 6 months. What happened then?
I went back to my job. So
you went back to the estate agent?
Absolutely, tail between my legs. Pretty much had to beg for my full-time job back.
Was that an embarrassing experience?
It was, yeah, because the advice that you're always given, often from right through parents at a young age, teachers, friends, is keep your head down, work hard, get a secure job and work to the top. So when you suggest to people that you're going to start a business, it's risky, it's kind of like, you don't want to be doing that, it's too risky, and that's what people were saying to me. So for me, it was a kind of case of like, well, actually they were all right, everybody was right, I should have just stuck at my job, because now I'm going back in a worse situation, lower pay, because they'd taken me back, and more debt, so it wasn't really a proudest moment.
So 2007 was a year of pain?
It was a year of pain, probably the most painful year, because I went from being in a job where I was quite well paid, well respected, and I would say fairly confident, to someone who failed, got in debt, lost a lot of confidence, felt incredibly insecure, and felt pretty much like an outright failure.
I'm sure all our viewers have experienced that low point. But you had to come out of that low point and start digging in and rebuilding. What began the next cycle to get out of that situation?
This was about the middle, maybe towards the end of 2007, that I realised that very quickly, although I was back in my job, it was just something I wasn't prepared to do. I think that, a lot of people in life have a burning desire, and that desire will, no matter how much you try and hide it or cover it up, will keep coming back.
Yeah, I agree.
My burning desire was lifestyle. That was my burning desire. It wasn't to necessarily drive the best cars in the world, have the most amount of money in the bank, live in the biggest houses. It was all, my burning desire was I wanted a great lifestyle. I wanted to be able to travel the world. I wanted to be able to not sit in traffic all day. I wanted to be able to afford the nicer things in life. And that was never going to go, and a job working 70 hours a week that, yeah, paid the bills, was never going to deliver a lifestyle for me.
So by lifestyle, you mean time, you mean health and fitness, you mean loving relationships, you mean travel.
The whole thing, yeah, the whole package. Yeah,
not necessarily things.
No. More. Do you know, for me, what I would sum it up as is being able to do what I want when I want, and also to be able to have a lot of joy in my life, a lot of enjoyment, and you know, be able to do things on a whim. You know, one of the things that I really love in my life, I have to say, is this whole situation where I can do literally what I want on the drop of a hat. We're doing this video right now, and tomorrow or day after I'm flying out to Crete, staying in a 5-star resort, but at the same time I won't just sit there and do nothing. I'll actually probably do some work. And that's the thing that I love, is that, you know, I actually love what I do. I just don't necessarily want to be in an office every day. I don't want to have to be sat in traffic every day. I like to be able to work, but I like to be able to do it on my terms, wherever I feel like doing it.
So you have this burning desire. You've been through the disaster of going back to the estate agent. Where did the burning desire lead you next? What did you read next? Watch? Find out about, search on? What was the inspiration?
Well, the funny thing was, is that going back to what I was saying before, is that the experience that I got from that franchise is I learned what I didn't want, and what I learned is that I wanted a business that didn't require.
What I didn't want. Wow.
Yeah, and I learned that I didn't want to have to sell. I didn't want to have to cold call. I didn't want to have to chase people. Most importantly, convince people to buy my products. So the funny thing is,
you've built a system that doesn't have that inside?
Absolutely. Yeah, no convincing, no twisting arms, no persuading. It's effortless. And you know, this is one thing I want to say to people watching this, is if there's one thing that I can absolutely guarantee is very achievable, not just because I've achieved it, but I have many students who have achieved it, I've had many friends that have achieved it, is that, you know, making money can be effortless. You know, a lot of people think that the more money you make, the more effort, the more stress, the more problems, the more things you don't want to do, you have to do. And it couldn't be further from the truth if you actually have the right way of doing it. So, going back to what you were saying, is that I went to Google and started searching, and the things that I was searching was businesses without cold calling, businesses without selling.
How funny.
Now, when I actually typed in things like businesses without selling, nothing came up. But as I started to research, not cold calling and things like that, I started to find stuff. And I actually came across a guy called Frank. He was based out in the United States, and he sold a book online, which could either be bought as an ebook or a physical product. I actually bought the product and the CD. And it was something like Never Cold Call Again.
And you spent what, a few $100?
A few $100, a couple of $100. And I remember getting the CD the day it arrived, and putting it in the car, listening to it on the way to work. And this guy, he spoke about building a business, building a system that enabled him to make money without tons of sales staff, without tons of overheads, and most importantly, without cold calling and convincing people.
But all of those things touched your buttons.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so amazing for me to sort of hear this, because my thinking prior to that, or leading up to purchasing that product, was that I'm not cut out to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs have to be good at selling, they have to be prepared to, you know, convince and persuade, and probably do a lot of things that that was completely out of my comfort zone. Whereas this was the first time someone was telling me, well, actually, you know, with the information age, with the internet, and with the latest tools and technology that didn't exist 20 years ago, you can actually build a business on a very low budget and without doing a lot of the things that you assume you'd have to do as a business owner.
So you listened to Frank's tape in the car, you read the book, then what happened next?
Okay, so the thing that I took away from that book was the confidence that I didn't have to be a cheesy salesman, and also that I could use tools and technology to do the selling for me. But he introduced me to the system of making money, which I and everyone will often have heard of as internet marketing. And learning the skill of internet marketing is effectively the vehicle to sell and make money on the internet.
So that was late 2007?
It was probably around September 2007.
So September 2007, you're starting to get your confidence back. What did you then start to do? What did you try?
I was researching, I was Googling things, I was buying books on internet marketing, I was buying books on Google AdWords, I was buying books on traffic generation.
So you took yourself to Stuart School?
Yeah, I really did, yeah, I really did. And I followed many different people online, most of whom I did get nothing from. I came across a lot of scams, I came across a lot of promises, buy this and you'll make loads of money, push button money systems. I'm ashamed to say I bought some of them. And I think the reason, I've often told people that I bought some of this crap and people have said, why on earth would you buy that? Are you stupid? And I think, the thing that I realised is that when you're at a low point and when you hate what you do so much, the emotion takes over. So this thought of being able to change things with a click of a button overtakes common sense.
Oh, I see. So you're kind of deluding yourself.
Yeah, and I realised that a lot of people online take advantage of that and play on people's emotions and use manipulative sales techniques and promise the world and deliver nothing to effectively scam people. And that's one of the things that people are incredibly afraid of online, is this whole being scammed. And it's not really surprising when there's so much junk out there. So, that 3 or 4 months towards the back end of 2007, it was making some mistakes, buying stupid things. But what I learned in those few months, spending just a few $100s, it wasn't like the franchise, but spending a few $100s, was that, if I was going to do this well, then I would have to get to school, like you said, and actually learn real business skills, but business skills that, if I'm totally honest, all the people in my life who I respected most, my dad, maybe even teachers or other authorities in my life, in reality, they didn't know about this stuff because, they're used to,
It's new.
It's new. Yeah, it's new.
So you came into 2008, and how did 2008 look? You'd had your tough year, you'd done your studies, you'd had your failure, and you walked into 2008, you had some knowledge. What did you start doing in 2008?
Okay, so 2008 is where I started to apply some of the knowledge that I was learning. Now, one of the pieces of the system, we'll touch on the system today, it's not something that can be taught in this video, but one of the parts of the system is list building. Okay, so it's this concept of building a list of customers that you can effectively make money with a push of a button, because what you're doing is you're building a list of subscribers, and then at the push of a button you can notify those people of a product, or you can offer them something that they may be interested in, they can buy it, and then the transaction's going to take place and you're going to make money. So I started at the beginning of 2008 list building. I went into 5 different markets, from organic foods to weight loss and dating, internet marketing. I went into various different markets, and I started to get out there and started to utilise some of the things that I was learning.
So you were testing?
Yeah.
Did you make any money, or was it just test?
January I made nothing. I spent some money on some traffic strategies that I was implementing. I started to list build, but no, January made no money.
February, March, April, how did you get on in those months?
February was the first time that I made my first online sale. I made about $20. I think it cost me about $200 to make that $20.
So February 2008 was your first ever online sale?
Yeah, so February 2008 was when
Do you remember what day that was?
I don't remember what day it was, but what I do remember is that it was when I was asleep, and what I do remember is that I woke up and it was the first time that I had this like, oh my God, this can actually happen. I was asleep and somebody paid for a product and I got a commission for it. So it was just this whole, I made money when I was asleep moment.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, that even talking about it now, that first sale was probably a better feeling than even my first $100,000 of sales, because it was just that belief. It was that I can do this.
So by the end of 2008, how far had you got?
Okay, so March, April, May, things really started to work. I was list building, I was making money that I could reinvest into things like building the list further through traffic generation. I was doing banner advertising, I was doing things like Google AdWords, and all the stuff that I was learning. Solo ads, I even did some offline advertising.
And you were selling information products?
Yeah, I was selling, as an affiliate, I was selling other people's products. So
nothing from yourself?
Nothing from myself whatsoever. And I think it's probably one of the best bits of advice that I was given from one of my mentors, was to not spend time trying to reinvent the wheel, not trying to spend money to create a niche within a niche within a niche and try and find that small gold mine, or not spend time trying to create products that maybe I wasn't experienced enough to create, and just focus on the system. So build the system, sell other people's products, get good at that, then create your own products.
So in 2008, you just sold other people's products?
Yeah, I sold other people's products, and I made $480,000, just over $480,000 in that year. And bearing in mind the majority of that income came in from the second 6 months of that year. So the back half of that year was incredibly successful because everything at the start I was learning and I was implementing, but it really didn't start to take effect until around the 6th month mark.
So how does that compare, that 2008 number, with that 2007 number?
Well, 2007, when I was in my job, I obviously lost money from building the franchise. But in terms of if I hadn't started the franchise, I'd just maintained my job, I would have probably earned around $100,000, maybe £60,000 in that year.
So in 2008, you were up 4 or 5 times. So then the urge was kicking in to make more, or what did you do in 2009?
Well, before I go to 2009, which I will do very quickly, but 2008, I just want to make a few points. I paid off my debt, I quit my job, I actually bought my dream car at the time. A lot of people think that's a waste of money, but I bought myself an Aston Martin. For me, that was an amazing milestone.
Was it a waste of money?
You know me well enough now these days. I mean, I still like to drive nice cars, but it's really not something that I think once you've ticked those boxes, it kind of wears off, and there's other things in life that become more priority or more exciting. But you know, I also started travelling luxury holidays. 2008, I was out in the Maldives, one of the most beautiful places in the world. If you haven't been there, I really recommend it. Yeah, I mean, it was just an amazing achievement. So, going back to your question, 2009, how did it differ? 2009 for me was not about learning new skills, learning the system. 2009 for me was all about lifestyle. So what I decided...
Optimising what you'd already created.
Yeah, it was really a case of like, you know, I've worked really hard in 2008, which I did. A lot of people think that you can push a few buttons, make money online, and while you sleep it all rolls in. That all came through spending time, energy, effort, and a bit of money learning. So 2009 was kind of like, do you know what, I'm going to give myself a break. I've learned a lot, I've applied a lot. I'm going to really enjoy myself. I mean, I went travelling around the world, changed my cars several times. I paid for friends and family to go away. I took one of my cousins away on holiday for an all-inclusive 2-week holiday, and just enjoyed myself, really. I just really enjoyed the freedom, because one of the things that I've been able to achieve, and I'm so inspired to help other people achieve, is this time freedom type of business. And in 2009, I can honestly say, on average, I probably worked 10 hours a week.
10 hours a week?
A couple of hours a day.
And what did you achieve financially compared with 2008?
So we did about $650,000 in sales.
So you still beat 2008, only working 10 hours a week?
Yeah, well, I was more leveraged, because I was more leveraged in that I had an asset, and that asset was I had a list. So I had lists of people.
Were you still selling other people's products?
Yeah, throughout 2009. Didn't want to mess around creating my own products, didn't want to spend the time, energy, effort, literally just focused on selling other people's products. The big difference for me in 2009, also towards the back end of 2008, is that I started selling much higher priced products. So in fact, in 2009, I sold a lot less products with a lot less effort than what I did in 2008, because I was selling higher priced products which paid more commissions. Some of the commissions that I was earning were in excess of $1,000 per sale. Which is what I really focus on teaching people, because if you can learn how to make $1,000 a sale, let's say your income is $10,000 a month and you're a high earner, you only need to sell 10 products that pay $1,000 to replace your income. Let's say you're more average and you're earning $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, 3 or 4 product sales, and you've made enough money to actually quit your job.
So if we call 2008 your foundation year, your platform year, what would you call 2009? How would you summarise that year?
I would summarise 2009 as transitioning to selling high-ticket products and proving to not just myself, but to, I suppose, my followers, to friends and even family, that you could actually run what I like to call an internet laptop lifestyle business, making multiple 6-figure income from anywhere in the world, as long as you've got a laptop and an internet connection.
Without all the hassle of infrastructure, a secretary.
I had one member of staff. I had one guy who worked for me in 2009, and he was just to sort of help out, filter out my emails, do some phone calls for me, make sure that things were ticking along as they should be.
Okay, so you had your foundation year 2009. You built on that foundation. You pushed up market. You sold higher ticket items, bigger commissions. You're still selling other people's products. You walked into 2010. What was your goal in 2010?
The goal in 2010 was to really take everything that I'd learned and share it. Because
to teach other people?
Yeah, really to teach other people. We were in a recession, people were struggling, people around me, including friends and family who I've been able to help out. As you know, I've got a good cousin of mine who managed to quit his job that year, walk away and run his online business full time. I was really inspired to just sort of share what I'd learned, this system of learning how to leverage internet marketing to sell information products and teach people how to do it fast, how to do it quickly, and to be able to change the way that they do things. So
and what did you achieve in 2010?
Well, in 2010, not only did we have our first sort of 7-figure business year, so we did our first $1 million that year.
Wow, so that's up 10 times from 2007.
Yeah.
Were you selling your own products now?
Starting to venture into it. Yeah, I was selling sort of lower cost entry products, really to get my name out there, to really see if people wanted the stuff that I was creating. I mean, I had a bit of a confidence.
So you were sort of doing an R&D year, developing your own stuff.
Yeah, I was, and getting feedback and learning from that. And you
developed the products with the customers. Is that how?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, one of the things that I had to learn in 2010, if I'm honest, was that as a product owner, you can't be a perfectionist, and that's something that I had to learn that year. I mean, I was spending so much time. In fact, the first 6 months of 2010, my income dropped below the previous 2 years. And the reason it dropped is because everything I'd learned in terms of focusing on money-producing activities, I'd kind of like backed away from, and I was spending lots and lots of time creating my own products. And that's why, for people who are really motivated to get traction fast, that often actually trying to find a niche, create your own products and spend that time isn't the best way to get started, because it's going to just take you a lot longer. Plus, you're taking away all that time that you could be learning the system.
Right.
So what I did in 2010
so it's better to refine the system and sell other people's products.
Yeah, learn the stuff that makes the money. Too many people dick around spending too much time on things that doesn't bring in the money. And that's what you shouldn't be doing. You should be spending time, getting money coming in before you sort of go on to maybe some of the more advanced stuff.
So you would say to people, spend a couple of years learning the system, sell other people's products before you even consider.
Yeah, even consider. And do you know what? I have many students who say to me, do you know what? I'm never going to create my own products, because why bother? I don't have to worry about product creation, I don't have to worry about fulfillment, I don't have to worry about staff, support. I just sell the products and make the money.
So you broke through 7 figures, and now I can reveal in 2012 you've broken through $2 million.
Well, we will do. Yeah, we will do.
You'll break through $2 million this year. So you'll be up 20 times on 2007. Viewers want to know, in that 5 years, improving performance by 20 times in 5 years. Pretty phenomenal. Viewers want to know what drove you to do it. Was it this burning desire? Was it your parents? Was it just seeing the United States? Was it lifestyle? What made you do it? Because it's a lot to have achieved.
It was, the genuine answer is it was refining and learning a system that is very easy to scale. Now, if you take an offline business, let's say you own a bar, or let's say you own a shop, a retail shop, a clothes store, you're completely limited by the traffic, as in passers-by. You're completely limited by the amount of stock you can hold, and to scale that business is very difficult. What do? You open up another store, which is a load of overheads, a load of new staff, a load of new time, and loads of new effort. With an online business, once you've learned that system, you can just scale and scale and scale and scale. An example would be, maybe at the beginning of 2009, we maybe sold 20 or 30 products a day, whereas take us to now, where we're probably selling 150 to 200 products a day. And it's the same system. It's the same automation, it's the same amount of effort. In fact, I probably work less now in certain areas of my business than what I even did then. But I've been able to scale it because we've got a global market, we've got new platforms, we've got different ways of generating traffic, we've got easier and more effective ways of getting presence out there.
And also the number of people on the internet has probably doubled since absolutely. 2007 to 2012.
Well, we sell products in over 80 countries, probably more now. That stats from
80 different countries.
80 different countries.
Wow.
We have customers. And
these are all your own products now?
Yeah, these are our own
Everything
products.
is your own product?
We still sell as an affiliate, we still recommend and refer other products, but the majority of my time these days is spent on educating people on how to become successful online. And I don't trust a lot of products out there to do that, so I prefer to focus on doing that myself.
Now, viewers want to know what's the secret, what's the recipe, what's the ABC, what's the formula?
Okay, it's something I'm glad you've asked, because it's really important, and I just want to share a few things. Obviously, there's only so much I can do in this short video, but this is the reality, is that you need traffic. So many people think you get a website and it's on the internet and people will find you. It doesn't work that way.
Traffic is number one.
You need to learn how to drive traffic.
So learning traffic is number one.
Yeah. The second thing is that you must build a list. You see, people also think that if you've got a product or a sales page, or you're selling something online, that somebody will turn up, read the page and buy it. Now, there are certain strategies and types of products that's more likely to happen, but for the majority of products, particularly in information marketing, whether it be as an affiliate or whether it be your own product, people actually need to see it on average 7 times before they make a purchase.
Is that right? 7 times?
7 times.
You need traffic number 1.
And you need the list.
You need list number 2. Number 3?
And let me just go back to that point though. The reason you need that list is because you need to follow up with those subscribers so they can actually come back 7 times.
Okay, so the list is kind of the qualifier of the traffic.
Yeah.
You pour the traffic into some machine and you come out with a qualified list.
Yeah, you start building that list of subscribers that can be followed up with. And the amazing thing is, and we have this in fact our own system, is that once you've set this up, it's automated. A lot of people think, you build a list and you've got to follow up these. You're not sat there creating lots of follow-up messages on a daily basis and communicating. A lot of what we do is set up, and once it's set up, for months, if not years, it works behind the scenes on autopilot.
Okay, so we've got the traffic, we've built the list, we've built the automation standards around the list. What else do you do? What else is in the formula?
So this is the thing that is hugely underestimated, and it's nurturing. Okay. Now, what I mean by nurturing is that you don't just drive traffic and build a list and sell stuff. Okay. What you actually have to do is you need to have a list of subscribers who know, like, and trust you. Now, that may be you, or that may be your affiliate partners, okay? So a lot of my students, the way that they make money is they introduce people to us as a company. We do all of that. We build the trust, we build the relationship, we provide the value. But the secret sauce, if you like, of the system is how much value you can provide to those subscribers. So they know, like, and trust you, and are then prepared to buy from you, repeat buy from you, and continue to be a customer for a long, long period of time. I have many, many customers who have been paying me since 2008, whether it be through an affiliate product that I'd recommend, and then they've come in to work with me in my own products, or whatever else. You can build customers for life.
When you talk about this third step, the nurturing step, giving value, what is the value you're giving to them? Let the viewers know, what are the lumps of value?
Here is a prime example for the easiest way to describe it, right now, this video, okay? So what we're doing is we're creating this video, we're sharing this content with our subscribers, so you get to know Thomas, you get to know me, and then what's going to happen is a percentage of those people are going to really be inspired to take action, whether that be to get more free stuff from us, whether that be to be on our mailing lists, whether that be to buy from us, follow us, tweet with us, Facebook with us, be on Google+, in our circles. And the reason that people are going to choose to do that is because of the value that we're providing. Now,
so high value, you mean giving good quality educational content,
so
over and over again? Let's
take a completely different market from people learning online business. Okay, let's say somebody wants to lose weight. Okay, so you as a business owner, you have the skills of marketing online, you have the skills of setting up the system, and let's say Thomas is a weight loss expert. He's the #1 guru in the world. Who doesn't practice what he preaches, but he's got the knowledge. And what happens is that Thomas actually decides that, you know what, working at the gym and personal training people on a one-on-one basis isn't really leveraged. What I need to do is I need to take this stuff to market. And what Thomas does is he works with maybe me as an internet marketer to take his product, his knowledge and his information, and take it online and sell his products. Now, what most people do, because they're used to the offline world, is either try and ram those products down people's throats, promise the world and deliver nothing, you're going to lose tons of weight, just buy this product, everything will be alright. Well, that doesn't work online. It may have worked, the novelty of just buying stuff has worn off. People research, they do their due diligence. Now, if you're someone that can actually give information that provides value, let's say, for example, you have a website and it says, enter your name and email address, and I'm going to share with you 10 steps to losing £10 in 10 weeks, for example.
Nice.
They opt in. They enter their name and email address, and straight away, rather than trying to sell them something, you give them a video. Hey, this is Thomas Power, I'm an expert on weight loss. I've been helping clients all over the world over the last 10 years to lose weight. And one of the strategies that I've learned has enabled me to coach 300 people in the last 2 years to lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share with you in this video those steps that I teach. So then what you do is you're providing that value, giving the information, and what actually happens is that that customer now has a relationship with you. They now know you, they now like you, they now trust you. So when that email lands on their inbox...
So is all about trust.
Absolutely. It's about providing value so people know, actually, this isn't another scammer online. This isn't another person that's just trying to take my money. This isn't another person that's effectively in the offline world cold calling me. And this is actually somebody who's taking the time to actually create information, create content, share that with me, so then I actually now feel that I'm in a situation that I want to actually do business with this person.
So if you like, the traffic is the know piece, the list is the like piece when they subscribe, and then you've got the last piece when you're nurturing them, and that's the trust piece. And then is that the recipe? Is that it? Is that the formula?
That's the recipe. I'll tell you why, because, and I want to make sure you're aware of what you're eliminating now. You see, as I said at the start of the video, I didn't want to cold call, I didn't want to chase, and I didn't want to convince. And by doing this know, like, trust system and providing this value the way that we're doing and giving value and going back to that word, nurturing that list of subscribers, people don't get convinced to buy your stuff. They make an informed decision. Do you know what? I want this stuff. This is what I need. I loved that information on how to lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks. It was one of the best videos I've seen whilst researching. Everything else has been trying to sell me these dreams of losing weight by taking a pill, a magic pill. This guy's been really honest, really open, shared his knowledge, shown that he proved to me he's an expert. Where do I buy his stuff? So there's no convincing. Then you don't need to spend millions of pounds on copywriting, thousands of pounds on copywriting. You don't have to have some sales page that's going to bend or twist people's arms, because people, where is the buy button? You know, where is it? I'm ready to buy. And that's the system, and that's what you can implement within any business online if the system is set up the correct way.
So we've got the traffic piece, we've got the list piece, we've got the nurture piece. Now you did say if the system is set up the right way. How long, for our viewers' sake, did it take you to get the system set up the right way? Okay, well, the honest answer in terms of what we do now, it's taken us probably near on 2 years. It's taken hundreds of thousands of dollars in investment, and it's taken a huge amount of resources. I have more staff than what I've had before. So, you know, the answer to where our business is right now is very different to where my business was 2 or 3 years ago. But the reason we've taken that decision is because as we've become more successful and as we've scaled, we've been able to grow the business much larger. I mean, my goals now is turnover into the tens of millions a year, not 100,000 a year. But what I think is more important for people to understand is that if you can get yourself educated, you can learn this system, and you can plug into systems like my own, like other marketers, whether it's in the weight loss industry, whether it's in the organic food industry, the dating industry, the home business industry, the make money online industry, the social media industry. If you can learn the skills, the traffic, the list building, and then the providing of value, then you can then plug into these systems. So you can do anyone you like.
People are already done. Now, one of the points that I want to make is that the internet's moving fast and things are improving, and where I want to make it clear is it's harder. It's harder now to have a system because it takes more time, it takes more money, and it's what I like to call the free line. Okay, the free line is raised. Now, what I mean by the free line is that let's take the industry of weight loss again, seeing as we're on that topic. 5 or 6 years ago, people would have probably driven traffic to a sales page and people would have bought. But the problem is, for many people starting out now, is that there are experts out there who have learned this stuff, learned these systems, and they've raised what we call the free line. So when you enter your name and email address, you're getting tons of good value for free. Okay? So for new people coming in, it's like, well, how can I compete with this? Because I've got knowledge, or I'd like to plug into this, or set up my own company, or set up my own business, but there's so much competition out there that's so much better than where I'm at. And that's a key point, and the reason I make that point is that I made the decision in 2010 that I wanted to make a huge difference in the marketplace of teaching entrepreneurs how to be successful on the internet. And the decision I had to make was either I take a lot of time, energy and effort and invest in creating my own company that can deliver that, raising the free line, providing value like this for free, or I need to partner with the #1 people in this marketplace and be an affiliate and sell their products. Whereas when I started, is that, you know, to get started in creating your own products, they didn't actually have to be that good. But the way the internet's going now is products are improving. The value that needs to be provided is raising. So the advice, and the reason I raise this point, is that if you're getting started for the first time, this is my advice. I'm not saying it's factual, I'm not saying that anybody that disagrees is wrong or right, but this is just my own personal advice, having coached thousands of people all over the world in over 80 countries, is that learn the system, learn how to drive the traffic, learn how to build the list, plug into really high converting existing products that are out there. Then maybe when you're more resourceful, you're more successful, you've got more money coming in, then maybe look to compete or create your own systems.
So that free line is going up all the time, which makes it harder and harder for people to create their own products and systems. So it makes sense to tap into a system that's already there. Now, you've improved your performance, as I said earlier, by 20 times since 2007, from $100,000 to $2 million. How does that make you feel?
Do you know, it's funny, it's like, I think it sounds cliche sometimes when people say this, but the monetary side of things you kind of get used to. If I was to go and log in and look at my merchant account, I know thousands of dollars have come in today whilst we're sat here, been having coffee, having lunch. So I suppose it's like a novelty of a new car, sometimes a new girlfriend, you never know. It can often wear off. And you know, what I find now in terms of, you know, where I'm most inspired and where I believe I would like to spend my time is really making a difference in the marketplace and helping people to see what I would say see the light, you know, and if you aren't happy in your job, if you're not happy in your traditional business, if the recession has affected you, don't be in a situation where you think, you know, follow the crowd or be a sheep and just be all about the doom and gloom. I've got to share a story with you. The other day I was in the supermarket in Waitrose, and I joined the queue, and there were two women, and they bumped into each other, obviously friends. And the first thing one of the ladies said was, "Oh God, you know, little Scotty's been here, he's been off sick, my husband's just about to lose his job, blah, 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 blah," being really, really negative. And I felt sorry for the lady, as you would do. And then the other lady came back, rather than saying, "Oh, you know, that's really sad," she said, "Well, you should hear about my week. You know, Elizabeth's been off skill, and John's this, and we had to cancel our holiday," and it was like the world was ending. And I'm stood there. And it's like, we're in this world right now where I believe so many people are competing with almost how bad things are. And the advice that I would like to give anybody who's watching this is, if you want to achieve new things, if you want to learn new skills, if you want to take your income from here to there, if you want to improve maybe your lifestyle, if you want to improve the bank balance, then you need to be learning and spending time with the right people. Because if you surround yourself by people that are negative, competing with how bad life is, moaning about their jobs, moaning about their careers, how bad the recession is, you go down with them. And the thing that I've had to do, and I have to admit it's not been difficult, is I've had to cut out a lot of the crap in my life. I have to say that my circles, the people that I spend time with, are very different to where I was 5 or 6 years ago, living paycheck to paycheck, struggling. And that is the thing, and the point I want to make is that...
Because you actually don't want to be around their energy, do you?
No. And the point I want to make is that that is what the internet has done, is that there are communities, there are people out there who, within any topic, within any market, within any niche, are experts and brilliant at what they're doing. They're not just surviving, they're thriving in times right now. And these are the people you need to be learning from. These are the people you need to be connecting with. These are the people you need to be spending time with. You don't see me sat here right now you know, moaning and whinging with Thomas about how tough the economy is right now. We're talking really how great things are. And that's the thing that you really need to take advantage with online, is communities. Get around the right people. If they're not in your life right now, if your family's not supportive, your wife's not supportive, your husband's not supportive, your family around you are all in desperate need of support or whatever else, try to, I'm not saying sack your family, I'm not saying disconnect. What I'm saying is make sure that you use technology, information, the internet communities to surround yourself by the right people that can help you go from where you are to where you want to be. Because if you're making the mistake that 9 out of 10 people make, probably more, and spending your time just around people that are not achieving what you want to achieve, then you're going to flatline. You're not going to change. You're not going to improve. You're not going to progress.
So, talking of progress and moving forward, we're in 2012 now. Looking forward to 2015, 2020, the number of people on the internet is probably going to double again to 5, 6, maybe even 7 billion by the end of the decade. So your business will double in size even if you stand still. But you mentioned that you're now setting the goals of doing tens of millions of dollars on the internet. Well, how do you intend to do that?
Well, we'll do that by really creating more and more information and education products that can help people, achieve more, particularly in the market of actually setting online businesses, learning internet business systems and doing it the right way. For me, my passion, where it lies right now, believe it or not, isn't so much about my own business's progression. It's more about the lives of the people that we can touch and how we can help more people improve the way that they live. I mean, like I said at the start of the video, the thing that inspires me most about online marketing, internet business systems, whatever you want to call it, is lifestyle. And I believe you only have one life. There's no dress rehearsal. So for me, it's, there's so much opportunity out there, whether you're talking about learning Facebook, Google+, whether you're talking about learning social media, whether you're talking about learning affiliate marketing, whether you're learning about creating your own information products, whether you're learning how to find more coaching students, raise your prices, all the information is out there. And with the internet being what I would call an absolute cash machine, you just need to learn how to tap into it the right way. And a great example that everyone will probably be able to relate to is you look at things like Facebook as an example. Facebook, if you've got kids, your kids are on it. It's not are they on it, they're on it. Twitter, kids are on Twitter. Adults are on Twitter. People are spending their time in those environments, yet do you know the amount of people that have no idea the opportunity there? I mean, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars advertising through the likes of Facebook, and for the majority of people, they have absolutely no idea that
no idea at all.
None. But it's there, it's happening all the time. I meet kids at seminars, kids, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who are making more money than their parents from their college dorm room.
Wow.
Okay? And that's the reality of what's happening right now.
Now, you went on a trip to New York recently, you went on a Yannick Silver conference, and you mentioned you met all these kids, as you said, who were making money out of these apps. What sort of age were these kids? What kind of money were they making out of these apps?
Well, I mean, I was meeting kids that were making upwards of $10,000 a month, £6,000, £7,000 a month, and
these are less than 20.
Less than 20, yeah. But again, going back to forget the business model. All these kids are doing is spending their time learning the new ways of making money. They're not spending time learning how to be a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. These guys are learning how to sell ads, how to do Facebook advertising, how to do solo advertising, how to build networks, how to use Google+, how to use Facebook, how to use Twitter, how to drive traffic.
So the schools and universities are not really teaching.
20, 30 years behind.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So when you look forward to this new world of making money on the internet, following this system, the traffic, the list, the nurturing of the list, do you think it'll become a worldwide phenomenon that everybody will copy this formula, the free line will rise?
It's certainly going to obviously continue to develop and improve. I personally think that right now there's more opportunity than what there ever has been. There's more people coming online, there's more platforms, there's more networks, and what that means is there's more and more things that need to be learned. And therefore, as the internet develops, as it grows, more and more information needs to be consumed. And a lot of people assume that the internet is all about free stuff. And the reality is it's not. If I said to somebody, by plugging into my system, and this is what we do, by plugging into my system, we could take 3, 4, 5 years of learning and condense that into a 6-week, 12-week course, where you could be up and running a profitable business, but the costs involved are X, Y, and Z. If it's within their resources, people are more than happy and prepared to pay that, because being out on the internet is kind of like being out on the ocean on your own with no compass, trying to find a destination. Who knows where you're going to end up? For most people, they're going to end up somewhere that they didn't want to be. They're going to end up somewhere that really isn't fulfilled what they're trying to achieve. And it's the same with the internet. You get on the internet, it's like, the best information out there does need to be paid for. And it's kind of like buying a satellite navigation. You put in the postcode of where you are or where you want to be, and it takes you there. And that's where I believe the opportunity is. You want to either be in the situation where you're promoting and selling these types of courses, or you want to be one of those people that's actually creating them, creating these maps, providing people with the end destination, the end goal in mind.
So if I use your metaphor of the ocean and the compass and getting lost and so on, and we know Christopher Columbus discovered America, or at least Middle America, in 1492. Are you Christopher Columbus on the internet? Is that what you are?
Well, we're certainly one of them, and we're learning every day, and that's the one thing I will say is, we're learning and discovering new things and new strategies all the time, and whilst that's happening, I know that I'm not going to be out of business, because if I'm learning every day, I know that I'm far further ahead than pretty much anybody that I know, so we can continue to develop and create those
And
products.
you're always keeping your knowledge up to date with these new systems, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, all these apps. You're always updating and keeping yourself up to date.
What I do, and this is what I recommend everybody does, is that it's not about being a tree of knowledge. It's not about being a master of all trades. You need to pick a few things that make sense to you, and you're going to do that. It's not something you're going to make a decision through watching this video. You're going to start your journey. Let's say you decide that you want to start a business, you want to get started making money online. You make a decision on a product or a course and you get started with that, and on that journey you're going to be introduced to new people, new opportunities, new ways of doing things, and on that journey, much like school, you come out at the end of school and you decide, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a solicitor, I want to be a bin man, or whatever else it might be. With your online learning, you do exactly the same. I want to sell products in the weight loss industry, I want to be a guru, I want to be a coach, I want to be a trainer, I want to be a super affiliate on ClickBank, or whatever it might be. And you're gonna continue to move forward and keep developing and progressing. And the key thing that you should do online is and this is the advice I want everyone, is get mentors. Don't try and crack this on your own, okay? Don't try and do this alone. If you want to be an expert on Google+, find a Google+ coach. If you want to be an expert on Facebook, find someone that's an expert on Facebook. If you want to learn how to make a lot of money online, find people who are making a lot of money online and learn from them. And use that satellite navigation, use that map, rather than being lost in the ocean, the sea of the internet, trying to work all this stuff out yourself.
So, Stuart, as we wrap up now, if people want to follow up with you, if they'd like to watch more of these videos, learn more about you, your system, your approach, your technique, your futures, what do they do now?
Well, make sure you're on a mailing list with one of our partners, or make sure you're on one of our own mailing lists and continue to receive the information. If you're in a situation where you really want to take action and actually get started, taking steps, making a progression within your business, then I'm afraid to say that our community, our training courses are completely by application only. So one of the things that we do very different to anything else out there online is that we don't just force products in people's faces. You actually have to apply so that we can speak with you, make sure that you're right for our trainings, make sure that you're right for our products, regardless of what course and products we're involved with. And then we can make an informed decision with you to whether we can actually help you. So you
help people qualify themselves in and qualify themselves out.
Absolutely.
So you take them through all of that.
Yeah.
So they log on, they follow up with join one of your lists, go through that interview application process, and then they can join in. So today I've been joined by Stuart Ross, who I consider one of the finest internet marketers in the world, to tell you the truth. And you know from what we've heard from Stuart that he's increased his own performance by 20 times since 2007 to 2012. No doubt you're going to attempt to do that again by the end of the decade. Is there any one little final nugget, one little thing I've missed, or a little recipe or magic bullet where I've missed it out, where you just like to finish off for the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, if there's just one thing that I was going to really elaborate on would be if you really want to change, the way I'd like to say it is that, a lot of people want change, a lot of people want a better job, a lot of people want to make money online, a lot of people want an internet lifestyle, a lot of people want a lot of things in life, a nice car, but the reality is they take absolutely no action. So the one bit of advice I'm going to give is take action, and take massive action. I am a prime example of someone who went from being in debt, being stressed, losing confidence, feeling insecure, worried about how I was going to pay my rent, let alone get myself my first mortgage, to a position where I was making multiple six figures my first year online. And let me tell you is that it wasn't through special talent, it wasn't through any special skills, it wasn't through being a naturally gifted geek or anything like that. I'm far from it. I dropped out of college, I didn't do particularly well at school. But what I did do is I took action, I took massive action. And if you're sitting here right now thinking, do you know what? I really want to take my situation from where I am to where I want to be. I like the sound of internet marketing, I like the sound of selling information products, I want to learn how to do this and take action and get ready to take your life from where you are to where you want to be. And in terms of timescale, which is the thing that I'm always asked, how long will it take? It really comes down to, everyone's an individual basis, but the one thing advice I will give is the more you put in, the more you get out.
So take action, follow the system, start to build up your traffic, start to build up your list, start to nurture that list, join in with what Stuart's doing, and learn how to be an expert in internet marketing selling these information products. I've been joined today by Stuart Ross, worldwide internet marketer. Thank you very much for coming on board.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.